Guys, we're going to talk about something. Let me get cleaned up here. Don't mind this. I was just building a fire underneath one of my aquariums. It was getting a little bit cold. I had to warm it up a little bit. Let me get this put down and open a window, crack some of the smoke from the fire out. And I want to talk about something. Don't go anywhere. This is important. What I want to talk about is the lifespan of different fish. What do we all do? You're thinking about a fish. The first thing we do is we get on Google. If you do your research before you buy your fish, which I've done videos on, which you should always do, take a few minutes to research what you're buying so you know what you're getting into. And that rolls into this video as well, which is don't let Google fool you. You're going to look up the lifespan of different fish. I'm going to talk about the common fish that most people get when they go to the store. And we're going to see what Google says versus what I've experienced and other people have experienced. Some of these are not very accurate. Let's jump right into this. So if you're planning on getting a fish, you want to go to the store and you want to bring it home and you want to keep it in the aquarium. But if you're one of them people that can board things fast and you think you want to buy a fish, but you might get sick of it down the road, this hobby might not be for you. Now, there's different aspects of this hobby for everybody. But that's where MTS comes into play, because you end up getting more tanks because you want to keep more fish. And it just spreads out of control. That's how MTS starts. But if you do your research and you look up, I'm going to keep a goldfish, and they say, oh, they can live 10 to 15 years. That is true. But they can also live 20, 25 years. There's reports of a goldfish living 45 years. That's just goldfish. Look at the guppy. A lot of people love guppies and breeding guppies. If you look it up on Google, it'll say 2 years. These fish can live anywhere from 2 to 5 years. Right? An Oscar. Let's look at Oscars. They can live anywhere from 15 to 20 years. You see what I'm getting? There's a broad range. 10 to 15 to 20 years is a big difference. You're talking in an initial 5 years. The point of this video is you need to do your research. Yes, Google it, definitely. It gives you a general guideline of how long these fish are going to live. But you need to be prepared, because they might live a lot longer than you think. If you think that you're going to set up an aquarium and you decide to keep fish, but there might be a move in your future to a different state, to a different house, but you don't want to be bothered with taking those fish with you, this is something you're going to have to keep in mind. You might want to start with fish that don't live as long. You get the idea where this video is going. I mean, I wrote some more down. Let's look at loaches. I have a Golden Dojo loach over here. They're said to live 10 years. Well, when I got this one, it was at its 10-year mark, and he's still going on strong. He's probably pushing 11. So now we're a year over the guidelines of how long they live. Tetras, anywhere from 4 to 5 years. Cichlids, anywhere from 5 to 10 years. Cory cats, that's another popular fish. They're said to live anywhere from 5 to 10 years. Although in a lot of these cases it can be true, but sometimes they're not. And you need to be prepared for that. You need to be prepared for a lot of things in this hobby, and understanding the lifespan of some of these fish is one of those things. Let's talk about something else, and that is you. You make a difference in this lifespan of these fish. A lot of this depends on how well you keep your fish, how healthy your aquarium is, how healthy your water quality is. Obviously, the highest quality you can keep your fish at, the longer the chance is of that fish of living. You're doing your water changes. You're not letting uneaten food and poop build up and cause disease in these fish. This is all rolls into their lifespan, and that is at the mercy of you, the owner, the fish keeper. And in my opinion, and I've said this in the past, if I buy a fish, I take that commitment and I do everything in my power to keep that fish. And I like to take it a step above all of that on top of doing regular scheduled maintenance, feeding high quality foods, which is a big one, I also go ahead and do once a week the Boyd Vitachem. So now my fish are also getting multivitamins they might be lacking. Talking about that a little bit, you hear all these videos about high quality foods, but you need to vary their diets. Some foods out there you can feed, like Northfin, that can be the only food that you feed because it has such high quality foods at different ends of the spectrum that is that in one food. It is all the varied diets and all the nutrition it can get in one food. There's a lot of foods out there like that. Extreme Aquatics. There's lots of new and upcoming high quality foods that will do great. And even if you have a good fish food that doesn't cover all the nutrients and vitamins, and you don't feel like varying your diet and keeping track of different foods, if you do things like using Vitachem, which is a multivitamin for fish, that kind of fills that void. So you can pick a food that's your favorite, feed your fish, and if once a week you're dosing Boyd Vitachem, it's going to pick up what the food is lacking in. There's lots of different ways to keep fish, lots of different tricks like this that you can do in combination with each other to keep your fish happy and healthy as long as possible. But if you are going to be on the more lazy side and you don't want a tank that has a lot of work because you don't have time, you want to keep the fish, you might want to think about smaller fish in a dirted natural tank or like a beta or something like that, that if you're traveling more for work or if you're going on vacations more often, you might want a fish tank like that. And there's lots of products out there that you can put in the tanks that are all weak feeders and they can nibble on it as they want. But the point of this video is don't trust Google. Google knows a lot of things, but it doesn't know everything, and it doesn't get everything 100%. And this is one of them. Don't let that guideline fool you, because if it was up to Google, my dojo loach would be dead already. I got a Cory cat in here that just won't die. Out of all the 5 or 6 that I got, he's the last one, and he's been by himself for a long time. And they say, oh, you can't keep them by themselves, they get depressed. And all that is true. You have some shoaling fish that feel better, more comfortable. That is definitely a true statement. But I put other Cory cats in there after he was alone, and he still kept to himself. But he's still going on strong. And he's an old man. It's definitely past the point of when Google said he should already be dead. Right? So keep that in mind. It's all about being prepared. That's the point of this video, to not let that fool you, because these fish can live longer, depending on you, the fish keeper, and how well you take care of them, of how long that time actually is. Let's touch on something else. And there's a lot of other things that play into this. Stress, high quality foods, maintenance. All these things play a part in how long your fish will live. But there's also that other factor, and that's the fish itself. Maybe the fish has problems. Fish like guppies have been bred and inbreeded for so many years, inbred for so many years, they just have issues. So that's not the fault of you. They're kind of faulty out of the gate, and there's nothing you can do about that. The only thing you can do about that is to try to find fish farms and breeders who know 100% their fish haven't been inbred and they're pure. But that takes a little more digging, and you're not generally going to find that at your Petcos and your PetSmarts. Usually I think online is going to be your best bet, because unless you live next to a fish farm in these states like Florida and other places where they actually breed fish, if you're within driving distance, that's a different story. But I don't think they sell fish at those farms to people like that. They're like wholesalers, so they're going to ship them out and distribute them out. I could be wrong. I've never done it. So walk away from this video with this. Don't just Google. Let's talk to some experienced fish keepers. We're all through YouTube. Everybody gets back to you. They will reply. All you have to do is get on a live stream or comment on a video and ask questions. They'll get back to you. So don't let Google be your #1 resource when you're looking at researching fish. And keep everything else in mind that I discussed in this video going forward before you buy your fish. You need to know what size tank you're going to have according to what fish you want to keep. You want to know their lifespan. Generally, if you're looking up what different fish eat, it's pretty much going to be the same with the staple dry foods that you can get anywhere, but that they can be picky. I've got Northfin Food and Extreme Food here, and not all my fish like Northfin as much as they like the other. Sometimes they only want the cheaper foods that are not of high quality. Feeding them something is better than nothing. There's a lot of things that come into the factor, but I would take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes to sit down, do your research, talk to people before you just impulse buy, so you know what you're getting into in according to your lifestyle and what might be in your future your lifestyle. When you get these fish and you get these tags, make it a commitment. Every bit as you would if you were getting a dog, a cat, a bird, or your own children, right? These are living things. They deserve to live the best life that you can provide for them. So you want to take the time to research to do that. So that's it. Just a quick video on lifespan of fish. Understanding that Google's not always correct. It should not be your only resource when you're researching anything for that matter. But especially this subject too. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought. Maybe give me some experience with fish that you have had that you thought might have been dead, but it's still living. You know, we all experience different things. So I appreciate your time. Be safe. Have a good rest of your weekend. Till next video.